Okie dokie karaoke. Here we go, key. Okay, so the alpha male, the sigma male, the beta male, what do they have in common? They're males? No, that's not what they have in common. The thing they have in common is they do not exist. They are euphemisms, ideas, inventions, control mechanisms to prevent real men from seeing the difference. You see, society is structured in a very complex way, which most people don't see. Yes, it is about dominance and control, but not in the way people think, not the way the left or the right think, or even the centrists and their simple minds think. To think, you have to truly think and truly think outside the box. So, what is the alpha male? Well, it's a story, an invention, a myth, a lie, downright even, created by certain predicating predatory people with agendas. Same people who push the beta male lie, or the she male, or the anti white, or the pro white. Anything, this world exists of narratives and counter narratives. Very rarely does the truth come out. So I speak for the truth. In time immemorial, this will be recorded and will be put in the minds of others to educate them, to learn the truth. There are no there are no alpha males. There are zero alpha males in the planet. There are zero beta males in the world. There are no alpha betas and sigmas, even though the idea is fabulous as a concept. It doesn't exist either. There are only men and women, two sexes, male or female. Now, it doesn't mean that there isn't a natural order. Men are more dominant and controlling than women. This is their genetic nature. It is the natural order for men of their race and their species, or males of their race and species, to control and rule, depending on what that species is. Humanity, masculinity, is the dominant sex, and they're the superior sex. Male sex is the superior sex, which is superior only on certain things that quantify its superiority, meaning its intelligence, cognition, strength, and its ability to conceptualize and uh, uh, organize and uh, problem solve. Now, the woman is the submissive, but she is not inferior. She is superior in her own ways. Ability to create life, the ability to care for the young, which men can do as well, but they cannot create life like women. They cannot create life at all with their bodies. They cannot birth life. That is the only thing that the woman can do. But they can care for the children, not as effectively as the woman. The woman's place is to stay in the kitchen, as the right wingers and the left winger, as the right wingers like to say, and the left wingers deride. But no, a woman's place is her power is not wielded through combat. It's wielded through caring for the family. That's the woman's function, is to create and nurture. But these toxic women we have now, they're not real women. They have been again the boss babe girl, and the trad wife does exist, but it's not what the 1950s. It's not these influencers trying to make a buck. These are grifters, and thusly, with the macho man, alpha male, giga chad types, these people, they're also grifters, not concerned with true masculinity. Now, uh, and anyone who tries to like, we don't have true people dedicated to actual masculinity. Actual masculinity comes in many forms, but whatever the thing is, the men must take care and be responsible. That is the greatest true tenet of masculinity, because women are irrational and emotional. Women cannot have the do not have the mental functions. They're not as potent in mind and in body as a man. Man is stronger, smarter, and faster than a woman. A woman, you know, I'm talking about in a mental level, and but the women are more, agile. They have better reflexes. They can see things. But women are not meant for combat. They are not meant for leadership. Their mental and physical capabilities are subsequently below the male. Now, uh, doesn't mean there aren't genetic anomalies on both sides of the males and the females, but the women are not designed for combat. At least not human women. Not human females. I mean, in some species that are non-mammalian, the female tends to lead. It like such as in insects and certain species of reptile. So certain species of fish as well. So it's dependent on species and subspecies and race. So in humanity, mankind, the leader is always male because that's the natural order. There is a natural order, though asserting it through dominance by nearly killing your own tribesmen is not the way of the alpha male, because there is no alpha male. This is just killing your people. You're killing your tribe, and you're killing your progenies. This kind of corrosive, aggressive, seeking for dominance is why we have this decay in society, just and as well as this corrosive, like hyper feminized thing. They're both corrosive. The thing you should be a man, if you're a man, and have healthy masculinity, not toxic leftist or rightist masculinity. You need because masculinity in it of itself is not toxic. Men have traits. Men do like to be in charge. There is something in there for dominance, but to the point where this alpha male delusion pushes itself, where you have to kill members of your own family or species or race or tribe or subspecies for to assert dominance is absolute bullshit. Absolute, because this is if animals or even humans behave like this, their entire survival rate would go down because they would kill most of for just for the seek for a leader. They will literally kill most of their tribe. They will be put their tribe at more at risk with such an aggressive mentality. Now, on the other hand, if all you do is cry like a bitch, guess what? You're not going to survive either. There's a balance. True masculinity has nothing to do with alpha or beta, or it's a balance between using your strength to help people. Aragorn is the perfect masculine man. Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. He's white, handsome, strong, intelligent. Uh, this is the good shining light of masculinity. This is masculinity in its truest form. Not clowns like Conan the Barbarian. That is not a masculine man for me. Conan the Barbarian, his story, if you read the books, is he literally just goes into like the South and stirs up shit with the non-whites there. That's not masculinity. That's idiocy. There's nothing masculine about Conan. And Elric, on the other hand, he's the femboy version of Conan, except he's a wizard. He's just as non-masculine. You want to see a masculine man? You have two perfect archetypes of masculinity. Aragorn, who's the most masculine warrior man. That's a masculine man. And Gandalf. Gandalf is a masculine man. He is one of the most masculine men, and he doesn't really fight too much. He's a wise man, a wizard. So Gandalf and Aragorn, they're the perfect visions of masculinity. Now, this foul masculinity that you see from Rambo and Terminator, that's not masculinity. That's a mask. That you have some indiscreet. That's not real masculinity. Like it looks cool and it sells. And like even Batman's not a really masculine character. You know, I love Batman. He's a cool character. He's a really badass, like the edgy, dark anti-hero, or that kills bad guys, like like uh, you know, what's his name? Paul Kersey from Death Wish, played by George. What was it? Charles Bronson, the Georgian actor. Um, these are great characters, no question about it, but they're not realistic. I mean, like even Batman's a fairy tale. That's it. Superman is more realistic with all the superpowers because Superman knows what it is to be a man. He's kind of a fairy tale too because they kind of overdo some of his noble qualities. But the real strength, it comes from. I mean, Batman's my favorite character, but I mean, I don't want to be like Batman because I'd be a piece of shit. Batman's an asshole. You know, Batman is an asshole. He's a total asshole. I mean, like he'll literally risk too much and hurt people just to win. Superman win. That's not the mark of masculinity. That's a mark of a psychopath. Batman is a psychopath. I mean, he's a good guy. He's a great character, but he'll go too far. He would go too far, and too many people, maybe even innocent people, will get hurt. Same with the Shadow. These people are delusional. If the Batman or the Shadow lived in the real world, they'd fucking be arrested because they're psychopaths. But uh, you know, uh, Lamont Cranston, the Shadow. These people are fucking obsessive psychopaths. I mean, like they're textbook psychopaths. Batman and the Shadow. Superman, on the other hand, he'd probably have the keys to the city. But the world is already run by psychopaths, so I don't know. Batman and Superman might, Batman and Shadow might get the keys. But no, I mean like I'm starting to see like Batman and the Joker. They're really cut from the same cloth. The Joker's victims are usually innocent, but he'll just kill indiscriminately. Batman, on the other hand, only goes after bad guys. But they're both fucking crazy. They're crazy as bed bugs. I mean, great stories, but they're just fucking stories. With hyper mask. I mean, they're great. Like sort of like the part of Batman that I really like is that he never gives up and he's very smart. But the rest of his character is pretty much he's a pretty shitty person. He's a fucking asshole, Batman. I mean, he's a great character, but he's a fucking asshole. Um, but as for Superman, he's a great guy. He's a little too subdued sometimes, but he's a good dude. So, you know, um, I think the real masculinity is the true heroes. We have like Aragorn or King Arthur, even though there was a fall from grace. Then you have Vasilevsky. He's another really masculine man. And Vasilevsky died a virgin. You know, uh, he died a virgin, and you know, I think I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm pretty sure. Uh, anyway, so Vasilevsky died a virgin. Anyway, and Christo Botev, who didn't die a virgin, he had a family. So these are real masculine. Sometimes Botev went too far, but still there are good masculine men out there. And they're not fictional characters. They're like when people just get they're like Rambo. You're like, yeah, I mean, like there are good ideas in Rambo, but come on, that's not masculine. Especially like Terminator. Yeah, you kill anybody, right? You know. Um, I mean, they're great characters. I mean, they're great motivation. But when you start believing this is the only path for masculinity, and this is how you have to be in the real world, then you're fucking delusional. You're fucking delusional. Just as if you think some guy dressed like a drag queen is if that's a worthy expression of masculinity, you're also fucking delusional. No, masculinity, you have to dress like a man. You have to be strong, but you also have to be a gentleman. You have to be a tough guy, dominant, absolutely. But there has to be a limit to your toughness. You have to balance it out. And I think I was in a tough state mentally. I wasn't well. I was fucked up. And I'm just starting to think clearly for the first time. And sexuality does not denote your masculinity or your political leanings, because there's nuance to this world. And for many people who don't know this, I am gay. I am very gay, like exceedingly. But I don't like men or boys. I just like trans women. That is it. There's no and femboys. At least if they're 20, they have to be at least 20. But no, I don't care anymore. I'm not afraid. I was dealing with my own inner turmoil. I'll keep on fighting. Keep on fighting. And I'm still a white nationalist, by the way. I believe in preserving the white race. I came to terms with my own shadow, you know, and I'm transmuting it for better purpose. So, if you want the key to salvation, what worked for me is Jungian psychology and finding yourself, truly finding yourself, sitting alone in the darkness or the light and thinking, just thinking about everything, and you find yourself through yourself. And then if you find religion on top of that, great. Or if you don't, also great. But there are realities in this world about masculinity. Men are tend to be dominant. They tend to have superior intellect and strength. But this whole alpha male, beta male, even sigma male, it's all a crock of shit. You know, it's all a bunch of uh, placebos. For one, you have the sigma and the alpha, which are the positive placebos, and then you have the anti-placebo, which is another placebo, which is the bad placebo, the placebo that gives you bad feelings, the beta. So these are all placebos intended to give you a certain feeling so so the system can control you. If you feel like an alpha man, they know what products you can get. They'll give you, and you'll have what you think is autonomy, but you're really just a slave in the end. Same with the sigma male. Now the beta, mindset. If they use a psychological trick to put that onto you, you'll be easier to control. But the whole concept of beta, alpha, sigma is all out the window because it never existed in the first place. There are men, yes, men tend to lead, but all men are intended to lead. But there is no alpha. There is no alpha. That is the genius of the whole thing. There never was an alpha. There never was a beta or a sigma. There was no male hierarchy. There was no leader of the pack because all men have the ability to lead the pack. And it is this idea of a violent pack. Uh, Wolves, yes, the males do lead, but this concept of wolves fighting each other, male wolves for dominance, is nonsense. Because wolf packs are led by the male and the female. The female is they called breeding pairs. The man is in charge. He's the one. He's the leader. But who's the second in command? It's not another male. It's a female. The female he breeds with, and the pack is a family unit, not a bunch of male wolves that hunt together. It's a family unit. And you don't understand basic science if you believe in alpha males and beta males and sigma males. And look, even the most intelligent scientific minds, conservative or liberal, will start buying into the beta alpha male sigma bullshit. And it's bullshit. And I just woke up from this thing. I was a genius. I still am a genius, but now I'm starting to wake up from uh, the numbing, the oblivion that society creates, and I have new thoughts now about society altogether. Uh, Society is not, you know, society. Society is a very complex thing, but I will continue talking. I will continue this discussion. So what I'm trying to say is, um, some races do have genetic predispositions. Whites tend to be smarter, stronger, more in control, and more sexually active historically. But now this is being subverted because lesser races, and I do believe there are lesser in ability, not in worth. Every life is equally as valuable as another one because human life is sacred. I truly believe that human life and even animal life is truly sacred. All life on this planet is sacred. Not all life, every single life. Whatever breathing creature lives on this planet has a right to exist. And white people and non-whites or non-white people are also not no different. But it doesn't change the fact there are predispositions genetic that make whites superior on just sheer ability. Uh, uh, just sheer ability and merit, whites tend to be smarter, and the Japanese and the Chinese and the Asians tend to, reflect an equal level of mental ability. Though whites are physically stronger, they are more resilient, and we have this. Even though on the same level, Asians and whites are tied in sheer, pure, raw intelligence. uh, the difference in racial difference in intelligence between whites and Asians is whites have this unique spark of creativity that and thinking outside the box ability that most Asians don't. So this way, whites are smarter than Asians, even though their base abilities and intellect are the same. They have a way of thinking. We have a way of thinking that Asians don't, because it's something in our culture. I don't even think it's a genetic component, but maybe it is because you can never breed it out. And even with all this attack on white people, uh, it's still evident. They still have outside the box thinkers. I mean, there's a few Asians that do this, but very exceedingly rare. So whites and Asians are the smartest, and these abilities manifest in men primarily. Um, now, the this is just pure intelligence. Now, physicality, whites are the strongest. Sexual ability, whites are the most dominant. And now, she enter the Jew and the other lesser non-white races, such as Arabs and Hindus and blacks. Now, they have a lesser ability than whites and Asians, and thusly they have an insane jealousy and hatred for the white man. So this is why they, when they obtain power through deception, the fall of Hitler and things like that. Really, they happened before that, but they are very good at being loyal to their people. I think it's their people, the Jews, that sold the idea of the alpha male, which is the same idea uh, in type of familial structure with its sister ideology, feminism, and the LGBT agenda. Now, yes, the agenda and LGBTism is a creation of Jews, but there are LGBTs, and it's done through psychological warfare. Nobody is born that way. And I'm saying this as a gay man, as a very gay man that loves females. But I don't like females or males, and I don't like boys, girls. Anything under than 20 is not acceptable. Anything over 50 is not acceptable. My age range is 20 to 50, white only, female or femboy. I'm not gonna. I'm used to saying female, but I used to like females. I used to be straight, but there was a psychological warfare done on me, trying to turn and look. It did turn me gay, but it never made me liberal. It never made me liberal. I have to be honest at all costs and integrate the worst and best parts of myself without lies. I never lie. I always speak truth. And look, I've been rejected by she-males and females so many times, and femboys too. It hurt, and I'm still a virgin. But I came to realize things better as they really are, and I don't hate anyone. I think the LGBT can be incorporated in this world, in a better world that I have envisioned. They don't need to be punished, but don't need to be rewarded, and they should not be allowed to race mix, just as white people should not, or any straight white people, or any gay white people, or any LGBT. Nobody should race mix. I think race mixing is thoroughly wrong for society. It is disgusting, just like pedophilia and geriatrophilia. That those are two things I find disgusting, and they have no place in this world. But homosexuals, transsexuals, and lesbians, I think they have a place. They've been created by the Jews, but to totally destroy them, dismantle them, or cure them of their disease, this would be wrong, very wrong, because they're still living creatures. And the ones that don't race mix or commit crimes against children or elders, or any crimes at all, at the end of the day, they're still white. Yes, the problem is, no, I'm just trying. I'm not. I'm just messing with you. No. Uh. Uh. No. Uh. The thing I'm saying at the end of this, they're still white. So whether they're gay or straight, they're still white. They're still white people, and as long as they don't race mix and they don't hurt children or elders, I have no problem with them. I actually support the gay agenda, not agenda. Sorry, support the gay community, but oppose the gay agenda and the trans agenda and the lesbian agenda. But I'm not anti-gay anymore. I used to be. When I used to be straight, I was very anti-gay. When I was first becoming gay, I was anti-gay, but now I'm not. I'm pro-gay, but I'm also pro-straight. Um, I'm pro-white nationalism. If there, because look, this is my way of seeing it. The LGBT, they're not born that way; they're made that way. But who made them that way? The Jews. The Jews, absolutely. And whoever's already, and I'm LGBT. I used to be straight. I used to be fully straight. This world fucked me up, but I'm already gay now. So there's, and I can't go back to being straight ever, and I don't want to. Um, but thusly, my theory, and this is not just to justify my own existence, although kind of is, kind of isn't, doesn't matter. It kind of is, kind of isn't, is, it doesn't matter. But whatever. Um, no. I think we are victims of a system that allowed this. And the straight people, the old boomer types who don't understand that there's a war going on for the white race, really for the youth, don't see this, and they push us just as far as the woke LGBT agenda people push us, whether they're Jews or not. Most of them are Jews. Some of them are feminist women that are just brainwashed. But it doesn't matter. The both the LGBT, the woke and the non-woke are doing the same thing because they're literally pushing people towards homosexuality. This is not good. Let the who's already LGBT be LGBT, and if they should accidentally by nature pop up in the future via trauma or no agenda, let them exist. But for most part, I think LGBTism is not healthy for society. Doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just something that's manufactured, and when it exists, it should be dealt with accordingly, not with violence, not with trying to cure them, but trying to understand them and give them respect. Just because they're humans, just like you, I, as a gay man, am just as human as you. It doesn't matter, and and non-whites are just as human as whites, but that's where the most important part comes. That's why they should never mix, because they are human. Because whites are human, so are non-whites. And to destroy one type of humanity by genetically mixing is abhorrently morally wrong. Morally wrong. Just as pedophilia, race mixing is the same level of evil, probably worse because it destroys generations, it destroys bloodlines, it destroys legacies, it doesn't create them. Even if though a new life form is created, it's an inchoate life form that will never be complete, that will never have belonging to any race. It will be this horrible creature that will devalue the quality of the world and be the contributor of a double genocide for both races, because every race has a right to exist, especially whites, because we built the world. But even if we didn't, even if we were kind of shitty people, we still have a right to exist because we're human beings, just like the niggers, just like the Arabs, and just like the Jews, just like the Asians. Whether we're good or not, it doesn't matter. We're good people, but even if we weren't, we're still human beings that have a right to exist for our own people. And this is what I was saying. Why the LGBT, even though they never existed in our people in the past, we have to think outside the box. If we can corral our people, whether they're straight or LGBT, we can protect our people, not the LGBT, not the straights, the white people. I value whiteness above all else. Gay or not, straight or not, it doesn't fucking matter. Preserving your race is the most important thing. Preserving family and bloodline is the most important thing because if your basic existence is gone, the people who fill the void will not give two shits about your history, whether they adopt your culture or not.